Hello, my dear students. Welcome. Myself, Sonali Devne, Assistant Professor at Nanvilas College of Pharmacy. I hope you all are safe at your home. So just enjoy this video lecture on distribution law. That distribution law is a subtopic of the solubility of drug. So just enjoy this video lecture and clear the concept of this. What is the distribution law? With the learning objective of this video lecture. So after the completion of this video lecture, you will be able to understand or explain what is the distribution law. Next, you will be able to understand the partition coefficient. Then you will be able to understand the modification of this distribution law and explain the limitation and application of this distribution law. So just let's start with this distribution law. Start with the simple distribution law. It is also known as a Nernst distribution law because the scientist Nernst first discovered this law. Hence, this also known as a Nernst distribution law. Also, it is known as a partition law. Then we will see what is the exact meaning of this distribution law or what is the statement. So when a solute is added to a mixture of two immiscible liquid in both of which it is soluble, then it distributes itself between the two liquid in such a way that the ratio of their concentration in two liquid is always constant at a constant temperature. Okay, so this is the theoretical definition of this distribution law. So let's understand what is the exact meaning of this distribution law. Suppose this is the separating funnel, and in this separating funnel we are going to add these two immiscible liquid. The two immiscible liquid is the oil and water. Then in this two immiscible liquid we are going to add the solute. Then this solute is soluble in both the phases, means it must be soluble in oil as well as it must be soluble in water. Then and then only this distribution law or the partition law is applicable. Then this solute is distributes itself in such a way that the concentration of the solute in oil and the concentration of the solute in water, the ratio of this concentration is always constant at a constant temperature. So suppose the concentration of this solute in oil is C1 and the concentration of this solute in water is C2. Okay, so just here you can see that the value of K is equals to the concentration of solute in solvent A, that is the oil, and the concentration of solute in solvent B, that is the water. So the ratio is C1 upon C2, that is the concentration of solute in organic phase. That oil is the organic phase and the concentration of this solute in the aqueous phase, that is the water. So this value K is always constant at a constant temperature. Why constant temperature? Because as we change the temperature, then solubility is also changes. So this is just a ratio. This distribution law is the ratio of the concentration of a solute in two immiscible liquid. So this K does not have the any unit. So the K is also known as this distribution constant or the diffusivity. So just these are the some example of the immiscible pair and the partition coefficient. So the partition coefficient of iodine in carbon tetrachloride and water can be determined by using this distribution law or this separating funnel. Same, the partition coefficient of benzoic acid we can be find by using the benzene and water, these two immiscible liquid. So this is the simple distribution law. Now, this is the time for the reflection spot. So just think on the question that what is the importance of this distribution law or the partition coefficient. So just pause this video and think on this question. So you will be definitely get some answer of this question. So let's discuss the answer of this question, that is what is the importance of this distribution law. Here is the answer of this reflection spot, that is the importance of distribution law. So distribution law is also known as a partition law, means how much drug is partitioned between the two immiscible liquid. So generally in our body, the all the membranes are made up from the hydrophilic as well as the hydrophobic portion. So this membrane is maximally a lipophilic in nature. Hence, the lipophilicity of the compound is important. So, by using this distribution law, we can generally consider what is the lipophilicity of that compound. Means, what is the exactly concentration of that solute or drug in a lipophilic component. So, for this, we can consider the partition coefficient or the distribution constant. So basically, the lipophilicity is very important in the drug discovery and the development. So the lipophilicity of compound is usually described by the partition coefficient. It is also known as partition coefficient, which is a partition between the octanol and water. Okay, so generally in pharma field, to find out the partition coefficient, we use the one immiscible pair, and that immiscible liquid pair is the octanol and water. So we are going to find out the partition coefficient of the maximum drug by using this octanol water system. Okay, so by using this octanol water system, we can easily determine the lipophilicity or the partition coefficient of that drug. The logarithmic value of this partition coefficient is known as a log p value. Okay, you might be know or you cross the term, that is the log p value. So here is the exact meaning of that log p. Log p is nothing but the partition coefficient. Okay, so the log value of that partition coefficient is known as a log p value. So why this lipophilicity is important? This lipophilicity is important to state that whether the drug is transport or diffuse passively or actively. So for the passive diffusion of the drug or component, the lipophilicity is very important. If that drug have the optimum value of the lipophily group, or it have the optimum value of the partition coefficient, then and then only the drug is easily pass or cross the biological membrane by the passive diffusion. Okay, so this log p value we can also be calculated just by seeing the structure of that component, and it is known as a calculated log p value. So if the log p value is very high, then it may cause the poor absorption. Okay, so the log p value must be in between the range. It should not be so high and it should not be very low. Okay, so the log p value means the lipophilic characteristics of that drug should be optimum. Okay, so any drug should have the lipophilic group in that structure, then and then only that drug is easily past the biological membrane and shows the pharmacological effect in our body. Now we will just discuss the basic requirement or the basic condition to carry this distribution law or to determine the partition coefficient of any drug. So the first condition is the two solvents should be mutually immiscible. Means when we performing the experiment to for the partition coefficient, the solvent which we will be use, that two solvent must be immiscible in each other. Second one is the solute must have the same molecular state in both the solvent. So the solvent is mutually immiscible, and in that immiscible solvent, the solute must be present in the same molecular state. Means it should be present in a monomer only. It should not undergo any dissociation, or it should not form any the dimer, trimer, that is the association. So that is the meaning of this second condition. The third condition is the solutions are dilute in nature, means the concentration of solute which will be added in this two immiscible liquid, it should be less. Hence, the solution should be dilute in nature. And the last condition is the temperature should remain constant. Okay, because we know as we change the temperature, then solubility is also changes. So the temperature should be remain constant. Now we are going to discuss about the modification of this distribution law. So when this modified distribution law is applicable, or when it will be used, so the scientist Nernst pointed out that the distribution law is applicable only if the solute remain in the same molecular state in both the phases, means in both the two immiscible liquid, that solute should be remain in a same molecular state. If it undergo any association or dissociation or chemical reaction, then the normal or the simple distribution law is not applicable, and there is need to modify that distribution law. So just in next slide we will discuss about this different modification of the distribution law. Now we will discuss the first modification of the distribution law, that is the association. So suppose these are the two immiscible liquid, that is the solvent A and solvent B. In these two immiscible liquid we are going to add the solute X, and that solute X is present in a normal molecular state in solvent A. So in solvent A the molecular state of solute X is normal, and the concentration of this X in solvent A is suppose C1. Then this solute X undergo the association in solvent B. So the N molecule of this X molecule is associated and forms the complex, that is the Xn, and the concentration of this Xn, it should be C2. So the complex, that is Xn, it should be in equilibrium with the single molecule of this X. So in this association, the formula of the K, that is the partition coefficient, is modified just like C1 divided by N square root of C2. Here the N is the how many number of the X molecule is going to associated and forms the complex. If the two molecules of X is going to associated and forms the dimer, then the value of this N, it may be the 2. If the three molecules of N, these are going to associated and forms the trimer, then the value of this N, it should be the 3. So simple example of this association is the benzoic acid, or the determination of this benzoic acid, partition coefficient of this benzoic acid in water and benzene. So this benzene is undergo the association in a benzene layer, and in benzene layer it forms the dimer, means two molecules of the benzoic acid, they are combined and forms the dimer in the benzene layer. So this formula for the K, that is the partition coefficient or the distribution constant, is modified depending on in which phase or in which solvent the solute is going to associated. Suppose in this example, here we see that the solute X is undergo in a association in solvent B. So we can write this formula like this: if the solvent is undergoing in a association in solvent 1 sorry A, then the formula becomes K is equals to N square root of C1 upon C2. So like that we can modify this formula. The next modification of the distribution law is the dissociation. So this dissociation we can explain same way as the association. So suppose these are the two immiscible liquid, solvent A and solvent B. In these two immiscible liquid we are going to add the solute X. This solute X is present in a normal molecular state in solvent A, and the concentration of this X in solvent A is C1. Okay, so this X molecule undergo the dissociation in solvent B, and this X is dissociated into Y and Z, and it undergoes the dissociation. So this dissociated molecule, that is Y and Z, will exist in the equilibrium with the single molecule of a solute in solvent B. So there is the equilibrium between this X molecule and the dissociated molecule. So in this dissociation, the formula for the dissociation constant or the partition coefficient is modified just like K is equals to C1 upon C2 in bracket 1 minus alpha. Here this alpha is nothing but the dissociation constant. So first we have to find out what is the dissociation constant for this reaction, and that dissociation constant, that factor we will put here, that is alpha, and we can easily find out the partition coefficient of such pair. So again, this dissociation or the formula for this dissociation, we can be modified as it is a just ratio of the concentration of solute into liquid. So if the solute is dissociated in solvent X and it remain in a same or normal molecular state in solvent B, then the formula becomes K is equals to C1 in bracket 1 minus alpha divided by C2. Like that we can modify the formula of this K in the dissociation also. So this is depend on the in which solution or the solvent that solute is going to dissociate it. Next modification of the distribution law is the chemical reaction. So again, this chemical reaction we can explain in same way as we explain the association and dissociation. So suppose these are the two immiscible liquids, solvent A and solvent B. In these two immiscible liquid, we are going to add the solute X. The solute X is present in a normal molecular state in solvent A, and the concentration of this X in solvent A is C1. So this X solute is undergo the chemical reaction with the number of the solvent molecule. So here this X is forms the complex with the n number of the solvent molecule and form a chemical product or the chemical reaction, and this again the formed complex is it will be in equilibrium with the single molecule of this X in solvent B, and the concentration of this formed complex is the C2. So in this chemical reaction the formula is modified just like K is equals to C1 upon C2 alpha. Okay, here this alpha is the fraction of solute that combines with the same solvent, means how much fraction of the solute X is going to combine with the solvent. That value, that fraction is nothing but the alpha. And same way we can again modify it if that solute undergoes the chemical reaction in solvent A rather than solvent B, and then that formula become A is equals to C1 alpha upon C2. So like that we can again modify this formula for the chemical reaction. Now here is the time for the reflection spot. So just think on the question that when this modified distribution law is used. So pause this video and just think on the question and write down your answer. So the answer of this question is that when we are going to perform the experiment on the determination of partition coefficient, what we do, we take the two immiscible liquid, and in that two immiscible liquid we are going to add the solute, and that solute is soluble in both of the liquid. Then after the some time period, that solvent is separated by using the separating funnel and is titrated with a suitable solution. Then we can find out the concentration of the solute. soluble in organic layer and the concentration of solute soluble in the aqueous layer, that is the C1 upon C2, and we can find out the value of K. Suppose we can here take one example that the partition we can determine the partition coefficient of the benzoic acid in benzene and water. So in the 5 different separating funnel, we are going to add the different amount of the solute. So in first separating funnel, we are going to add the 25 ml of the water and 25 ml of a benzene. So in all separating funnel, the ratio of this water and benzene is equal. So just we change the concentration of the benzoic acid in each of the separating funnel. So after some time period, when we calculate the concentration of the benzoic acid in benzene layer and the water layer, then we can find out the value of K for each separating funnel, and the value of K for each separating funnel is same. Then we can say that uh, benzene follows the simple distribution law. If the value of K for the all separating funnel is different, then we can say that there may be the modification of the solute. Means the solute undergoes the modification, and that modification may be the association or the dissociation or chemical reaction. So just again we can, if we can find out the value for K in a association and the value of K in association, again if it is constant, then we can say that benzoic acid undergo the association in a particular solvent. Again if this value of K in association formula also not same, then we can use the dissociation formula, and again we can check if the value of K is equal or not. So like that, when the value of K for the all 5 separating funnel is equal, then and that will be the molecular state of a solute. So like that we can say the solute undergoes the modification, and then we can use the this modified distribution law. Next one, we will discuss the limitation of this distribution law. So the limitation of the distribution law is exactly similar to the condition of the distribution law. So the first limitation is the solvent pair must be immiscible. Then and then only the distribution law is applicable. Second one is the temperature should be constant. If we change the temperature, then solubility is also changes. So temperature should be constant. The solute must be present in a same molecular state, then and then only the simple distribution law is applicable. If the solute undergo any modification, association, dissociation or chemical combination reaction, then we can modify or we can use the modified distribution law. And the last limitation is the solute must be present in a low concentration, means the solution should be dilute in nature. So these are the limitations of the distribution law, and these limitations are similar to the conditions for the distribution. So let's discuss the some application of this distribution law. So there are number of application of this distribution law. In that, the first one is the determination of solubility of a solute in a solvent. So for determination of solubility of solute in a solvent, we can perform one simple experiment that we can just add the excess amount of the solute in the two immiscible liquid, and then just after some time period we can separate these two solvent and find out the exact concentration of that solute is dissolved in a solvent, and that concentration is equals to the solubility. So like that we can find out the solubility of a solute in particular solvent. The next application is the determination of molecular state of a solute in different solvent. So for this we can use the simple distribution law or association, that is the modified distribution law, association, dissociation or chemical combination. So by using this by using the formula for this simple distribution law and modified distribution law, we can easily find out the exact molecular state of that solute in a particular solvent. Next one is the it is also used for the extraction of a substance. So depending on the partition coefficient, the drug are extracted. Next, it is used for the drug separation in a chromatography. So this chromatography is basically a separation or the purification technique, in that depending on the partition coefficient of that drug or substance, the drug is separated. And next one is to understand the mechanism of drug action, metabolism, bioavailability, toxicity, etc. We can use the partition coefficient. So generally the drug which is well absorbed through the GI tract, in that case we can use the octanol water system for the determination of partition coefficient. Instead of water, we can also use the particular buffer solution of a particular pH. And if the drug is absorbed through the brain, then the that system may be modified, and the system may be the benzene buffer system we can use to determine the partition coefficient. Next application of this distribution law is, or the partition coefficient is, the log p value is very helpful to study the structure activity relationship. So to determine what is the structure activity relationship of any particular drug, we can use the log p value uh, in that. Okay, next application is to study the release of drug from the gel, ointment and cream. In that case, we can use this partitioning law, that is the log p value. So this log p value gives the idea about the release of drug from the different formulation, like the gel, ointment, cream, that is the transdermal formulation. So next application is the effective concentration of preservative can be established for the storage condition of a different dosage form. So by using this distribution law, so how much preservative is distributed between the different uh, phases of that formulation, so we can find out the effective concentration of that preservative in the different phases of the formulation. So the in that storage condition, this distribution law is also useful. Here are the some questions on the distribution law. So just see first question, that is, a substance X is placed in a mixture of immiscible liquid, that is Y and Z. The substance X dissolve in both Y and Z to form a solution W and F respectively. So identify the solute. So in this X, Y, Z, W, F, which one is the solute? So we know that this X or the solute is dissolved in this Y and Z, and it forms the solution, that is W and F. So the answer of this question is the X only is the solute of this in this example. The next question is the which factor is necessary for an equilibrium to follow the partition law. So uh, we know that what are the conditions for the distribution law. So just see one by one option. The first option is the solute must be able to react with one of the solvent. Second, the solution form must be concentrated. Third one is that the solute must exist in a liquid state, and last one is the temperature must be constant. So already we know that what are the exact condition for the partition law. So these three, that is A, B, C, these are the not exact condition for the applying the partition law. And the last one, that is the D, the temperature must be constant. It is one of the condition from the distribution law, and the correct answer is the temperature must be constant. Students, this is all about the distribution law and the statement of the distribution law. I hope you clear the concept of this whole distribution law, that is the what is statement, then what are the lipophilicity of the drug, why it is important, then what are the limitations or the conditions for the distribution law, then what is the modification of this distribution law, and when it is used, means when the modified distribution law is used, and the application of this distribution law. So this is all about the distribution law. I hope you enjoyed this video lecture. So take care. Bye bye.